Welcome to Omega Virtual Learning, your online tutor. We welcome new viewers to our channel. In today's lesson, we'll be talking about basic trigonometry. We'll be talking about sine, cosine, and tangent, and how to use sine, cosine, and tangent to work out missing lengths of right angle triangles. And we'll also look at exam style questions. In doing that, we must first learn how to label the sides of a right angle triangle. So given angle theta as a reference point, the side facing the angle is called the opposite side. I'll call it O. The longest side is always called the hypotenuse. I'll call it H. And the third side is called the adjacent. So this is how we label it. Now let's say this side, given theta as reference point, this is the opposite, longest side hypotenuse, third side adjacent. So you must learn how to label it properly. So what you realize is that irrespective of the position of the given angle, hypotenuse is always fixed. It's always the adjacent and the opposite that keeps changing. So they take the position depending upon where the angle is. Now, sine, we're going to use some triangles to help you understand when to multiply and when to divide to work out trigonometry. The first triangle is called the sine triangle, and sine triangle always divide the opposite by the hypotenuse. Cosine will always divide the adjacent by the hypotenuse, and tangent will always divide the opposite by the adjacent. So in short, we call it SOHCATOA. SOHCATOA. So you need to remember this to help you understand the triangle. So I will show you how to use the triangle to answer question in a minute. So we're supposed to work out the length of side AB. First is to label the information, the sides properly. We need the information for this side and information for that side. We don't need to label this side because there's nothing there that's going to help us. So please try to avoid naming all the three sides because you get confused as to which of these three formulae to use. So name the parts where you would need them to answer the question. Some people will tell you name all the parts and cancel out what you don't need. I will suggest name what the relevant parts. So given this angle 25, x is the opposite, 20 is the hypotenuse. Now you check the triangle. The only triangle that has got opposite and hypotenuse is sine. So that means I'm going to use a sine triangle to work out the x which represent the opposite. You need to cover what you are looking for. So whatever you are looking for, you cover it. And when whatever is left is on the same level, it means times. So that means sine of 25 times the hypotenuse will give you x. So x is equal to the hypotenuse times by sine of 25. And hypotenuse is 20 times by sine 25. I would prefer to write a number first before sine. The reason is that if you're not careful, when you are keying on the calculator, if you don't close the bracket after 25 before saying times 20, you may get it wrong. So to avoid it, always write a number first when it's times before the sine or cosine or tangent. That will help you avoid such a mistake. So x is equal to 8.45 meters. Now let's look at this second one. AC, label as y. Given angle 50, 10 meters is the opposite. Y is the hypotenuse. Also, sine triangle is what you're going to use. We cover the h. That tells us that y is equal to the opposite side divided by sine of what? 50. So you replace O with 10 and y is equal to 10 over sine of 50. In the calculator, to do this, because it's a division, what you need to do is you press the division button, which is this is the division button. At the top, you key in 10. Use the cursor here, bring it down, and type sine 50, close the bracket, and you hit the equal sign. Now, what you need to remember is that the sine or the cosine, whatever you are saying, is always with the angle. So don't forget, when you say sine, use the angle. So that's the answer for this one. Example 3. We start by labeling. This is the opposite side, but we don't need it. Longest side is the hypotenuse, so that's the adjacent. So adjacent, hypotenuse. Which one has A and H is the cosine. We are looking for adjacent, so we need to cover A. That tells us we're supposed to multiply the cosine of 30 times by the hypotenuse. So x is equal to hypotenuse times by the cosine of 30. Hypotenuse is 14, so x is 14 times cos of 30, and our answer is 12.12 centimeter to 2 decimal places. For the example, labeling adjacent, hypotenuse. This is the opposite side. Because we don't need it, we don't need to label it. We check, we're going to use cosine. We are looking for h, so we cover h. That means divide a by cos of 50. So y is equal to a divided by cos 50. A is 6, so y equals 6 over cos of 50. To do that, press the division button, which is this. At the top, key in 6, use the cursor, bring it down, type cos 50, close the bracket, hit equal sign. Then you approximate your answer, 9.33 centimeters. So I'll recommend you have this kind of CASI calculator. It's very, very good. Now, let's look at example 5. We label the side O, opposite, adjacent, so that means tangent. Now we cover O because we're looking for O. That means tangent of 55 times A. So x is A times tangent 55. A is 9. So 9 times tangent 55. The calculator does that for us. It's 12.85 centimeters. So it's important that it's label it correctly and you will never go wrong with this. Label, that's the opposite. Hypotenuse, but we don't need it. So this is the adjacent. So tangent, looking for A, cover A. That means y is equal to the opposite over tangent of 35. And O is 8, so y is 8 divided by tan 35. So division button, 8 at the top, use the cursor, bring it down, tan 35, hit the equal sign. And that's your answer, 11.43 centimeters. Now we're going to look at an exam style question. Two right angles are shown below. AB is 10 cm, angle BAC is 50 degrees, angle CBD is 38 degrees. Calculate the length of BD, give answers correct to 2 decimal places. So as you read these questions, double check and see all the information on the diagram. If it is not, you have to label it. So AB is 10, this is it. BAC 50, that is it. CBD 38, CBD. So all information is there. So we start. We need to find the length of BC in order to work out BD. Because once we know BC, we'll be able to work out BD. So to do that, let's focus on ABC and label this side, giving this angle 50. That's the opposite. That is the adjacent. So we're going to use the tangent triangular formula. We are looking for O, so we cover O. So that means it's A times tangent of 50. So x now is A times tangent of 50. A is 10. So 10 times tangent of 50. That will give us 11.92. So knowing BC as 11.92, we can now focus on BCD. And let's pull it aside so that we can see clearer here. So BC, as we had here, is 11.92. Now we can now start doing trigonometry again. Labeling the side, giving angle 38. That's the hypotenuse. And that's the adjacent. So we need a cosine. We are looking for y, so we cover h. That means y is equal to the adjacent divided by cosine of 38. And a is 11.92 divided by cosine of 38. Use the fraction button to do this so that you don't make a mistake. So that is 15.13 cm. So that brings us to the end of lesson 1. Watch out for lesson 2, where we'll be talking about using trigonometry to work out missing angles. So share with your friends if you've enjoyed it, and hit the notification button so that you'll be alerted of any videos that I post. Thank you very much. See you next time.